With Shaman King the Superstar now back from hiatus again in Japan, the chapters that will be included in the 7th volume have now been released. This volume will release in Japan on July 14th, 2023. We'll be covering an in-depth, spoiler-filled look at Shaman King the Superstar chapters 39 through 44. If you haven't read Shaman King the Superstar Volume 6 or Shaman King Marco's Volume 5, you'll want to do that before continuing on. Both of those are currently available as digital editions from Kodansha USA and are available now. Additionally, you'll still want to read these chapters in English when the 7th volume of Shaman King the Superstar comes out. There's a lot of powerful dialogue in this volume that you're going to want to read, so be sure to check it out later this year. Chapter 39. Hana bikes down the mountain with the goal of meeting Yosuke and becoming friends with him. The leader of the Templar Knights, Thorum, finds this highly unusual since they were hired to protect the tower. Then we get introduced to all the members of the Knights Templar. Hana surmises that Yosuke is in the tower based on them blocking his path. He knows it's a risky move to move forward without having spirits, but he needs to learn more in order to continue. Meanwhile, at the tower, Sadi has been defeated and Senju has been captured in spirit form. She offers them words of advice. While they may be happy for now from their negative actions, true happiness that will last forever is love. The time she spent with Senju helped show her that, and she can see that even Lucifer isn't the devil that they think he is. This pisses Black Maiden off with Sadi's continued rebellion and attacks her. Even still, she believes in a world where everyone can find happiness, and the faint image of John forms behind her. Just as Black Maiden is about to give the final blow to Sadi, one of the injured Knights Templar bursts into the room to warn Hana will be there soon. Chapter 40. Starting with this chapter, everything will be in a flashback. Back by the train station, Hana declares that he won't let anyone get in his way and launches the first attack against the Knights Templar. Thorum fights back and punches both him and Hana down into the old subway. If he has to fight, he wants to do it out of the public's eye as all the members are wielders of ancient dragons. The remaining members of the Knights Templar disperse to keep an eye out to see if any more of Team Hao's faction appears while the two of them fight underground. With Hana badly injured, Thorum tells Hana to give up and just go home. But Hana continues to get up to fight, since if he takes down the Shaman King, he will know everything. Meanwhile, at a party in the tower, two men are talking at a party while observing the disturbance that is happening below. This is none other than Hibashima and Mr. Green. He says that he will clean up this new mess since it wasn't cleaned up earlier with the patch, while he moves on to his next meeting. That meeting is with Red Seb and Salarim. Red Seb then gives a proposal to help influence the flower of the maze as well as the future of the planet based on the true intention of his god. Chapter 41. Still in a flashback. Hana's words while fighting Thorum then triggered a flashback to the time when Fra Yavas became Shaman King. This is a flashback within the flashback. Yuran orders the members of the Patch tribe to their posts within the plants to protect the new Shaman King. The Patch official Thorum is the first to speak, saying that they just witnessed a terrible tournament. Fra Yarvis paid off many of the participants and held their families and properties hostage for the favorable outcome. Yuran counters that developments in maritime technology will soon shape the world. These drastic changes in politics and money will soon be more important than individual strength. Another Patch official speaks up, commenting that Fra Yarvis is building a world in which he sits upon the top of the pyramid without the underlings even knowing that they're being controlled. This person then reveals himself to be the Shaman King from 500 years ago. He declares that he will now be the Shaman King and he will kill all of the humans. The other Patch officials are shocked by this declaration and that he's already stolen the Spirit of Fire. Before the fighting begins, he lets them know that he's enjoyed his time spent with them, and then the battle begins. Returning to the battle underground, Hana reiterates that he needs to see Yosuke, but Thorum is suddenly shot from behind, a strike that also hits Hana in his heart. Mr. Green, along with Red 7 Salarim, asks both of them to get out of the way. He is disappointed with Thorum since he needed to use that tunnel to help clean up this mess. He then compliments Turbine on his impressive shot. Chapter 42. Still within the flashback. Mr. Green, along with Red 7 Serium, drive away, and Mr. Green questions if they are okay with their betrayal. Turbine was one of Hao's formal apostles and Yo's bodyguard. It might be a risky move to bring out this resource at this time. Mr. Green assures them that he's been a recruiter the entire length of the shaman fight. He was the one who first planted the seeds of distrust in Pyote. Back then, he went under the name Tamarazaki Midori. He worked next to the Oyamadas and stayed connected with the shaman fight. Even though he can't see spirits, he became the public face of the Daramorne. Returning to the original question about Turbine's betrayal, Mr. Green wonders if Red Seb and Serium are acting the same way towards him. Either way, Mr. Green will continue to monitor over them as they are providing him a valuable resource. Even with all of this, he finds it hard to be trustworthy. While they approach their destination, Red Seb realizes that this person has been planning this all along. Mr. Green can help provide them anything they need, but in return, the two of them must construct a new green golem before the Flower of Maize. Chapter 43. Still within the flashback. Turbine continues his assault and defeats the additional Knights Templar who attempt to help. However, they are unable to win against him, since they cannot create dimensional bonds using the Cloud Network. Argo attempts to fight Turbine alone, while the others place their faith in Hana and attempt to flee. Thorm returns to the fight, but is still unable to win. Turbine says that he will continue to show his strength. However, Thorm believes that there can be a different form of love. Then, suddenly Hana gets back up and complains on why people keep getting in his way. And in that moment, for a glance, Thorm is able to see Hana slowly connecting to the Cloud Network. Chapter 44. Still within that flashback. The remaining Knights Templar that stayed on the surface have pulled back as the police begin to investigate the sinkhole that has appeared. However, behind them appears Marco, who is confident that Hana will reach the tower. Back in the tunnel, Thorm comes to realize that Hana is close to being able to use spirits beyond the dimensions, which is a requirement in order to participate in the Flower of Maize. Turbine is about to continue his attack, but then is stopped by Pyote. He says that if Hana wants to go to the tower, they should let him. Hana is still confused why these two guys are fighting, but Pyote tells Hana that he will find his answers if he keeps moving forward. Back on the surface, Marco keeps the remaining members of the Knights Templar cornered and requests their guidance on getting to the Flower of Maize. Now finally returning back to the present timeline, Hana comes face to face with Yosuke. The chapter ends with a small montage of characters from the series as Thorm wonders what the true form of love is. Chapter 45 of the Shaman King the Superstar manga will be published in Shonen Magazine Edge in Japan on June 16th. It will feature an opening color page. This will be the start of the 8th volume.